2, 1. Damn, they're slow. There they are. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another day here at CJ's Gym. Today is Thursday, January 29th. 29 days in a row, guys. What's really cool is this is the first time that I've ever had 30 consistent days, so my analytics are actually pretty real-timey right now. So I was able to see that just in the last 2 months, my average viewers per stream went from point 0.2 to 1. I'm at an average 1 viewer per stream now, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like I said, I'm one of those numbers people that gets really lost in the sauce when it comes to all the analytics that it gives you. So I'm really happy to say that we have hit a really good stride with the numbers, and we're hitting some record highs on some of our days. We're 93% to our 60 follower goal, which I haven't even really been promoting a whole lot. I've just been showing up and chatting to new people. So that's really cool that I'm getting a little more reach. Today, just another output focused day. We rested a little bit. Well, not really rested. We took a recovery mobility day yesterday, and it proved to be just as grueling as any of our other workouts. So today, let's go ahead and go through said workout, see what's going on there. Let's let people know that we're live. I have just about finished painting my entire office. It looks really, really nice in there. I have to do another coat after today's workout, but I started on Sunday, and I've been talking about it a lot this week. But I'm stoked because I want my office back, and I'm not a perfectionist, but the way I had to do the room felt like I needed to pull out my super attention to detail glasses and just kind of go over all my work a couple times, since it was just me, and it's the first time I've ever painted a room. I think genuinely ever. I don't really remember painting rooms growing up or anything. So this was fun. This was a challenge. I think you guys are really gonna like the way it looks. And now I get to do the fun part of adding everything back into my office, and now everything looks so bare. It's just my desk in there. So I'm looking at furniture on Facebook, and I'm looking at stuff I can build, and I'm thinking about doing another grow this year, so I'm thinking about growing in there. So just a lot to piece together, but at least the room's painted, and I'm really happy with how it looks. So yesterday was a mobility heavy day, and I need my coffee and to go make sure that these dogs don't break my glass window. Be right back. Check, check, check. That's what's wrong. I was muted. Good merry morning to you all. I hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday. I know I am. I feel like this week's uncomfort is leading to some really, really exciting stuff. Number one, I'm consistently down 5 pounds on the scale. That's really cool because it just shows that, cutting the creamer out of the coffee, which also I want to point out, I haven't cut caffeine by any amount. If anything, I've updated it or I've upped it. I'm just drinking it a lot later during the day and it's holding me over through night classes. So black cup of coffee in the morning is just for the workouts and to hold over my hunger till after the workout. And then it's been a 3-egg omelet with some egg whites, turkey bacon, onions, cooked in butter with some cheese on top. Pretty normal meal, usually a sourdough English muffin on the side if I'm really hungry. I don't have any today, I gotta go get some more. And I'm kind of forgetting about food. Like dinner hasn't been that much of anything on my mind. I'm not thinking about it. We got McDonald's last night because last night is my latest night of the week, and Noelle works, so she's already gonna be up. So I might as well just pick us up a nice dinner, pick us up something good to eat. Since I'm not home and neither of us are home to cook and eat with each other, so I wait till 10 p.m. to eat on those days, and she just wakes up and we enjoy our Mickey D's, and it's bomb. Other thing, when I went to McDonald's, okay, so growing up, I never ordered meals from McDonald's. It was always just dollar menu stuff, right? Back when the dollar menu was a real thing. So I never ordered stuff like a quarter pounder with cheese, fries, and a drink. It was, I'll take 4 McDoubles to myself. That's $4 worth. And so I would just eat that, That's how I'm a big family. That's kind of how big families do that thing. So, more recently, I don't really like French fries. And I worked at McDonald's for a long time, but I'm starting to mess with their French fries a lot. Not because I think French fries are super good, but because the drive from my place, or from McDonald's back to my place, 20 minutes. It's enough time to smack my fries and still be hungry, but realize that I'm not that hungry that I could power through 3 sandwiches. I could probably just eat the one that I got. So I get a normal sandwich, some fries, and then because I'm me, I'm like, I'm gonna get some nuggets on the side. I had like 2, and I fed the rest of the dogs. Yeah, my appetite is just a lot smaller, and that seems like a good problem to have, when you're trying to lose weight. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna burp. There it is. I don't mind, just regular black coffee. But when you get to the end of it and it's really cold, that's when it's like, who really enjoys this, I swirl it around and make sure all my creatine is getting in there. I haven't even been drinking the smoothies that I love. I usually make these protein smoothies, and I picked up protein just for that this week. I just haven't been super hungry. A lot of water. I have been hitting at least 100 ounces a day, which 2 of my water bottles would be 120 ounces. Take your weight, divided by 2. I'd say at around 110 ounces is good. So maybe I'm coming in a little lower, but I'm also not drinking, any as much dairy, sugar, just regularly. We didn't go through today's workout. We're gonna do that because I'm not ready to jump rope quite yet. It's still a little cold. Not crazy, but it's just that I keep the oh my gosh, did we just get someone to follow? Or was that the kick bot that's doing its thing? Let's see. The Void calls my name has followed. The Void. It was me. What's up, man? Oh no. Fantastic to meet you. First off, most people jump in here and they say, "What are you doing? Who are you?" You just jumped in and said, "I'm gonna follow this dude. He seems like a credible piece of meat." And yeah, I referred to myself as that, but I'm just happy that you followed. Thank you so much. The Void calls my name. Cool name. You have a nice voice. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Working my ego. Working my ego. Working my ego. Hey, do you watch New Girl? Does anybody watch New Girl? What about... I'm trying to think of what other stuff he's from. The guy from New Girl, Russell from New Girl. I do his impression for my girlfriend a lot. Sorry, Jess. I didn't know you were getting married today. I would have told you. What other shit is he from? He's from a lot of stuff. My best friend's wedding. I just found out that he's a real accomplished cellist. What's his name? I think it's like Dermot or something. Here, you know who this is. Dermot. You know who that guy is? You ever seen a movie with him? Yeah, he always talks like this. He's like, he's never really got his voice together. Oh. But that aside, thank you for the follow. It's fantastic. And you just set my workout, just set me up for success because I already wasn't feeling this right now. Not from that blurry ass photo. That's fair. Well, the Void calls my name. Thank you for the follow. What you up to today? What's your plans? You got any? I could have given you a better look at the photo. Check out my... You don't know this guy? I don't know if it's clear, you know? It should be. Get you another photo. Never seen him. Interesting. Let's see what you say. Feeling like a fat buck, so trying to feel better. Hey, dude, as long as you're aware that you're feeling like it, that's the first step. Here's my question to you. What are you gonna do about it? Huh? What are you gonna do about it? When I feel like a fat buck, there's two options. Be a fat buck or not be a fat buck. And sometimes it's easy to go down both options. Really, really, it's set up for you. But subconsciously, we all know the best option for us. We also know the easiest option. Isn't it funny that doing the easy thing, lounging, gluttony, all that, you know, anything in too much, nothing in moderation, everything just whenever you want. And And then being lazy gets really hard. Like sitting still becomes like unbearable to the point where like you I get so bored sometimes that nothing sounds good. Like nothing sounds fun. Me and my girl go through this together. We know that we're not gonna find anything to do, watch, play, like, but we get in these funks where it's not gonna nothing's gonna hit. And that's when I like to try and implement some kind of routine, especially when I'm feeling really numb and when I'm really just not feeling it. Because if I'm gonna feel numb and if I'm gonna feel like crap, I would honestly rather be making a little bit of progress. Like I have a good story for this, a really good one. And if you want to hear it, let me know. I'm gonna do my 10 minutes of jumping rope and we can chat about it. Or let me know what you're feeling. You lost like 10 kilograms at one point, gained it up back. Me too. Me too. What is 10 kilograms? How much is that in pounds? I promise you, I've been there too. And I'm currently at the point where I'm trying to lose 20 pounds because your boy ain't happy with the weight distribution and how it went. Thank you. I will. I'm gonna jump rope for 22 pounds. Yeah, I fluctuate 40 in my 20s, just from poor habits, heavy drinking at the beginning, too much weed towards the end, current time, you know. But I'll tell you this story about the first time I ever really felt numb and productive. After this. You guys got music? You should have music. Yeah, you got music. You know, I'm gonna jump, but how do I sound? Can you hear me well? I'm chit chatting like this. Smack that rope. Yeah. 10 minutes is just so long to jump rope that 10 minutes of trying to jump rope is more warm up, you know? It's 2 minutes of this, 2 minutes of that. I've learned that if you don't train warm ups like 20% of what you can actually do, odds are you're probably gonna be tired. Let's see. I'm looking at the chat, making sure I'm not losing any of our conversation. I should lose like 132 pounds to be a normal weight. What's normal weight? Just, is that based off of just like the regular, what's the medical standard for some kind of doctor's office? I don't know. Normal weight for me, I think, is around something like 170, and I've always been 50 pounds over that easy. Doesn't, I'm not gonna be 170 comfortably, you know? Damn. Hit a little bit of rhythm there. What BMI would I suggest? Oh, like what BMI would suggest. If I thought you were asking me, I was like, brother, I hear you. Not exactly, but yeah. Based off the BMI scale, I'm not playing either. I've been overweight since I was 13. Only time I've been good on the BMI scale was 1 year in the military, and it was my first year in when you have no option to be, in shape. But that was the only ever time that I've ever been within BMI. Since I've known about BMI standards, I've been obese, overweight. And then yeah, just right in the sweet spot for maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Quick feet. Skinny. I was depressed living at my parents', moved out on my own. Now I'm depressed and fat. Yeah, I was healthy all the way living through with my parents. They fed me well, to the point where the BMI was like, you're a little too heavy, but I was always very healthy. And then I moved out, and I realized how hard it was to stay in shape from just your food, You can work out all you want, but your food is always gonna get that ass. minute and a half left. Let's see if, oh, I jinxed it. Yeah, it's the food. Did some taekwondo for a while. Oh boy. Boy? Had a boy? Is that alright? Last minute. Let's do this. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2. Whack, whack, whack. Oh, okay. We are warm. Yeah, man, food's something you gotta evaluate your relationship every so often, for me at least. I'm gonna tell you about that time I was talking about when I felt really numb and I didn't want to do anything, but I had to, because that's life, right? But I was really sick of kind of where I was, what I was doing, and probably back to back within a year. So right before I joined the military, I was working a bunch of odd jobs, and it was really thankless work. Pay was shit. Hours for 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Sweeping, pretty much. That was my job for. It was like 6 weeks. Is how long this stint was that I felt, and I would go to work at 6 p.m. and I would clock out at 6 a.m. So wasn't seeing much of the sun. I was really depressed just because of I wasn't doing anything outside of work. That was it. I was 19, so there's only so much fun you can have. But I knew I didn't want to be in my hometown anymore, so I left for the Navy. And when I got to the Navy, everything was exciting, and everything was fun, and everything was, a challenge, because that's how it is. But after your first year, I think that's when it was. So I get stationed in my first spot, Washington, D.C. And it's November. It's got to be like November. And everybody's enjoying the weather, and we're going to big events in the city, a bunch of stuff. But everybody that I know who was in the military kept a really close, kept in really close contact with all their friends at home. So they would go, a lot of them were in driving distance, and they'd go see them. And I went with them one time to meet my friends' friends, and I was like, never again, right? So, November, trying to think of how to put this. November, I am settled into where I'm going to be for the next 2 years. I'm experiencing the East Coast cold for the first time in my entire life. Snow is, like it's no joke. It's not fun all day, especially when you're working out I'm doing funerals all day. So I'm marching through a cemetery, and I'm doing these full honor funerals for the Navy, and I'm wearing these uniforms, and all day that's what I'm doing. So there's nothing that I can consider, this sounds terrible, but progress. There's nothing I can consider progress. My job is to bury people, that sounds so hands-on. My job is to render honors at funerals, day in, day out. That's what I'm there for. So there's nothing I can gauge. There's nothing. I'm not getting any better at anything. There's stuff within your company, but it's pointless when you leave work. So I'm numb. I'm very numb, and we go into the holiday leave block, January, December. All your friends go home, and I made a choice to not go home my first year. Not for the holidays. I stayed I remember it was Thanksgiving, and I was in the galley, and they were closing early because it's Thanksgiving. And all they were serving that day was cold turkey sandwiches, and there was no mayo because they had already put the condiments cart away. And I ate a cold, dry turkey sandwich on Thanksgiving in the snow by myself. And that's when I was like, oh my God, something's gotta change. Quick. Because you catch yourself in those moments, and then you know what I had to do? I had to fill the rest of that night. It was 6 p.m. I go outside. I'm 21 at the time, too. So I'm fresh. Can pretty much do whatever I want. I'm bummed. I'm cold. That's what I remember most, is I was fucking cold all the time. And my job is to stand out in funerals holding a flag like this, so I'm fucking freezing. And of course, I have friends during all of this. Your friends aren't always in the mood to be down, like to be depressed. Everybody deals with it their own way. So I have friends who are partying, and I go to a party for one, a day at a time. But it's really nothing's fulfilling, and it's leave block, so everybody's gone. Not all your friends are going to be together at the same time. So I go back to my room, cry for a little bit, call my mom or brother, something like that. And then I had a projector in my room at the time, and I used to work out to Insanity, the workout DVDs, when I was a kid. And I just told myself that this is gonna suck. Like, life kind of sucks right now. I'm cold. I'm tired all the time. I don't like my job necessarily. My friends, I've only known these people for a year at a time. And the thing about the military too is, as soon as you get to know someone, one of you gets restationed. So I'm just trying to put in a routine. And I do. And the first day it feels like absolutely nothing. And the second day it feels like absolutely nothing. And 2 weeks in, I feel horrible. I don't feel good, I'm not happy. But it was 2 weeks of doing the thing that I really didn't want to. And I remember really not wanting to do those workouts, because when you're in the Navy, you have to work out with your command anyway, with your companies and all that stuff. But I would wake up
around 5 o'clock, and I would go into the gym, lift for a little bit. And I wasn't, and here's the thing too, this is what really sucked about a lot of this, was I was young and I wasn't super educated in what I was doing. So I would wake up and I'd go squat heavy. And then that day for work, we'd be running 1.5 miles in the fucking snow or in the cold, you know, like it was just frozen over. I remember that. The Potomac River is just a slushy fucking fest. And then after work, I get off around 5. I have 6 hours to kill before I feel like I'm even ready to go to sleep. So what do? I work out maybe again. And I just have these rules on myself, like, just don't drink sugar during this time. Like, if you're gonna be depressed, put a couple restrictions on yourself. This is my mentality. I'm not not preaching at all. And I did that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and it felt like the entire cold season came and went. And the truth is, that funk, that routine is what pulled me out of that funk. Those little things of don't drink every night, you know? Don't smoke every single day. Don't get out of bed for a cigarette when you really want it. There were a lot of don'ts that I had on myself that I just knew those weren't going to make anything better, so I might as well try and cut them while I already wasn't feeling anything. And it sucks. It totally sucks. But I couldn't fathom just being in the same spot months later, saying the same thing. So I really fell into getting better, working on being alone. That was one of my big things. Is I grew up in a family of 12 siblings, so I've never learned how to be alone, like with my own space. When I got to the Navy, that was the first time I had my own bedroom. And so when I get to this command, they give me my own room. It's got a great view of the Potomac River. I'm in one of the best places to get stationed for your first time. You know, it's fantastic. And I'm dead. I'm depressed inside. And I'm also having to learn how to just sit in silence, you know? Like, the Navy's funny. The military's funny. Like, you just remember all the chaos and the loud that happened and just all the, you know, big stuff and big events. But when I really think back to some of my lowest moments, it was in my barracks room alone, just sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck am I doing with myself? What the fuck is wrong with me? What, you know? And you do that, and instead of thinking, you go for a walk. I'm not kidding. I had to relearn things like going for walks and reading. I had to learn how to turn my brain off for a little bit without substance abuse or alcohol, or yeah, I guess that counts as substance abuse, but it's terrible. I know you said fat fuck. I'm not trying to bring it back up, but lazy fuck. That's what I remember being. Just a lazy fuck, you know? Just a really unmotivated. And so, oddly enough, you know, the thing that pulls you out of those funks is the routine that you set up, or the thing that you do, because something happens, something changes. For me, it was really weird, actually. I don't remember coming out of this funk. I just remember people noticing that I was good at my job. I had a lot of free time, and I needed something. Like, I just needed something. I think people noticed that, and so they would send me to a new place to become a drill instructor, and I did that, and I never felt depressed during that time because there was never a moment to feel depressed. And that's just a testament to how hard you can go to try and run away from the silence in your head. I would do that for forever. And I ended up really hurting myself doing that. Having seizures just from not being able to turn your brain off and shutting it down with beers instead of sleep. Waking up in cold sweat just constantly because you feel like you're missing an event or a meeting or something. I don't know. I used to wake up right after I got out of the military, and I'd reach for my phone, not because I was checking socials or anything, but because I was like, did I miss something today? Was I supposed to muster up? That feeling takes a while to get rid of. But I was in a funk when I started this channel. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I needed to work on something because usually my workouts are my peace. They're my chill time to think, not think, relax, push myself, talk to myself. You know, it's everything. And when you lose that from your workouts, when you lose that from the thing that brings you peace, nothing can bring you peace. And I just knew that I wanted to create, wanted to share, wanted something, and I wanted it to be about something I actually am passionate about, working out and chatting with people and, you know, trying to find common ground, I guess. Oh, okay, we gotta do kind of like the opposite. Never really drank, nor been to parties. Spent a lot of time alone as a kid, and all that friends and I went their own ways. It's just me, my thoughts, and anxiety. What do you like to do for fun? What did you like to do for fun? Could be a better question too. Also, I'm listening. We're starting to work out. The first thing we're gonna do, we're working backwards today. This big back half of the workout is a little more mobility stuff, so we're gonna start there. Some split squat holds. I'll pulse it down at the bottom, make sure that we get our hip flexor real engaged. But I'm listening. Usually play games. You know, your first PC when you were 8. Nice. We had a family PC. That's where I first started playing Age of Empire. That was probably the first game that I really remember on the PC. Outside of that, I was a GameCube boy. My older brother had a GameCube, so we played at his mercy. Watched YouTube. I was not allowed internet access as a child. So people would always be like, "Did you see that video?" No. And we didn't have phones to show each other back then, so like, you just didn't know. My girlfriend told me about some video, Old Greg or something. I don't know. I had never seen it.
And she was like, how have you never seen and I was like, I remember kids talking about this. Never seen it. Charlie the Unicorn. I saw that like 3 years after the hype was down because my dad found it. Or someone showed my dad. My dad would show us the videos that were worth seeing. So like, you remember that Chris Brown wedding song routine? Saw that with my mom. I think when she still had Facebook. Other side of the globe. Where are you from? That's interesting. That's not. Very curious where you're from. Finland. That's. Tell me everything about Finland, please. Sometimes I want to just open up the Discord in here so that I can just chat live with people. Just because we're having conversations. And I'm always like, what? Would these people just be down to just jump and chat? And I'm thinking about doing that soon. But tell me, let's compare stuff. Let's compare everything, I just want to know everything that I want to know everything I don't know about Finland, and that's damn near everything. Cold, dark, how cold, how dark, how often is it dark this time of year? Let's start together. Okay. I'll start a statement. You'll follow the statement, just in the same genre. When I was a kid, one of my first ever memories was getting a McDonald's breakfast McMuffin, egg McMuffin, sausage McMuffin with egg, and going to the park with my dad. I remember that distinctly, okay? It was like one of my first childhood memories. So McDonald's breakfast food has a spot in my memory that I can't burn. Breakfast food from childhood, maybe till now. What is? I'm gonna start looking up stuff about Finland too. Finland. Could get there for $500. You're not gonna like this.
remember me and my parents going to Canary Islands when I was 3. There's a gorilla statue I was scared of. I used to go to this place called Big Bear in Big Bear, and we would slide down this hill on tires or in inflatable tubes, and that is also a very, very early memory. Have you been back there since? It's my question. So it says Finland is globally renowned as the world's happiest country. Doesn't that make you feel great? Isn't that awesome? I don't know how I'd feel, but nah. Don't really have the money to travel 8 years in a row. And that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. What is the things to do in Finland? Oh, happiest country in the world 8 years in a row. I was like, yeah, man, I don't have money to travel 8 years in a row either. I don't know who does, but it makes more sense now. It's like, so, what's the light schedule like right now? Here it gets dark around 6:30 now. Maybe a little earlier. Maybe like 5:50s. But the sun comes up a lot earlier. Finland. Who am I thinking of? Who's from Finland? Is Sarah Sigmund's daughter from Finland? It's getting better, so like 4 p.m. Nice. Okay, so there's a switch. Comes up around 9 a.m. We have a midnight sun in the summer, meaning the sun doesn't go down. Polar night, meaning the sun doesn't come up. Damn, that is insane. I couldn't even, from California, and I moved to, I was in DC for 4 years and got to see the East Coast. And I've traveled to Europe once on vacation, obviously. So I didn't get to see how anything outside of just regular summertime works. You know, I was touristy. But wow, that's insane. You've been to Florida? Disney World? Disney World? You go to Epcot? Yep. Yep. That makes sense. Okay, we did the straight leg reverse crunches. We did the RFE split holds. Cat-cow reps standing. Okay, we can do these. Instead of supersetting everything, we're doing everything just in sort of a one-by-one fashion. And Universal Studios. What? Oh. That's crazy. Universal. I went to Universal, or what's it called? The one, Harry Potter World. Yeah, I went to Harry Potter World in Southern California. I've never been to Florida. I've been to Georgia. Been to Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia. Where else? Illinois, Indiana, California, Oregon, Nevada, Washington? Not. Maybe. I remember a guy coming at the buffet came to complain to my parents that I didn't answer his question when I literally couldn't speak English. Guy at the buffet, like a server at the buffet, came to complain to your parents that you could not speak English. Not speaking, but you weren't answering his questions. Nice. Good one, Universal. Oh, that is a big pop. Okay. No, just some old guy tried to talk to me. Oh, I thought a server. So some old dude's like, "What's up, kid?" And you're like, "Nah, stranger danger." He's like, "What's up, kid?" You're like, "No." And then he's like, "All right, I'll go talk to your parents and save my best friend from being kidnapped at Disney. Someone offered her candy." Good Lord. Good Lord. You saved your friend? Who saved the friend? Dude's reverse lunges, low and slow. These are just a nice way. Keep the muscles activated. What else about Finland? Can you give me a generic, not generic, can you give me a typical Finnish dinner? Or breakfast, maybe Finnish breakfast. Yeah. I turned to talk to her. She had vanished. I saw her a bit away talking to someone. Ran to her, saw the candy, grabbed her hand, gave the candy back to the stranger, and dragged her back to her parents. Good God. So you're a hero. You were a hero in the world's happiest place. You kept the world's happiest place the world's happiest place. How they have not turned your life into a Disney movie, commercial, or even its own theme park attraction? I don't know. You should get on the phones. That's crazy. It's crazy to know what was going on. Imagine if it was just one of the Universal workers. It's like, yeah, Here you go, kid. Some candy. He ran up and just. I asked about dinner, but breakfast works too. I just want to know a typical meal. I don't know. Is it good? Pretty much my only memory of Disney. Yeah, also. I don't think you refer to it as the world's happiest place. And neither is your friend, because she didn't even get candy. In her eyes, before knowing any better, you ran up and just fucking candy blocked the shit out of them. That's crazy. But good, in a good way. Got another set of these lunges. We still have some dips and push-ups to do today. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm curious to know the things we both mess with heavy, and the things we don't. All right, last set of these reverse lunges. Let's see. Okay. Oh, well, breakfast. Open rye would be rye bread, open sandwich. Some yogurt, maybe porridge. Dinner is harder. Salmon is popular. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but I thank you for including it. It's a kind of stew. Milk with your food. I know. I know a family from my hometown that I grew up with who milk went with everything. But if you asked them, I'm sure they said their families are from Finland, because I'm pretty sure they were. Pastas, other stuff. Tacos on Fridays. So one more day till tacos, right? That's fun. My breakfast currently is 3 eggs with some egg whites from a carton dumped in, and I mix that all up. And then I get some turkey bacon, usually like 2 slices, and I make an omelet with some onion, usually a little bit of onion in there, and throw a little bit of cheese on top. I usually overdo it with the cheese, and when I was a kid growing up and I would make myself food, there was no overdoing anything. You couldn't overdo it with the butter. You couldn't overdo it with, for me, my parents would be like, you're overdoing it with, it's too this, it's too that. I never understood that until I got older. Now, I realize there is such thing as overdoing it. That's fair. So what usually is on sale? Personally, don't eat breakfast. Yeah. So what kind of stuff are you buying that's on sale? Also, I mean, I'm not trying to. I don't know anything about Finland. I've never been there, but I just remember the significant difference between just stores in Europe and from here. So it's just nutty that we be having the same problems. Yeah, that's definitely the wrong. I got way too into the chat. I was not expecting it to be that simple, and guess what? That's because it's not. That's because we're not that strong yet. We're still using this band, and this is the band that lets us move like an action star. Okay. First movie that I really remember from my childhood was Titan AE. It's a sci-fi cartoon style, underrated film. But I remember watching that. Keen Eye. I gotta rewatch that again pretty soon. But Titan AE, what's the first movie you remember? You just remember. Usually if the chickens or steaks are on sale, I get those. Problem is mostly the candy. Yeah, I understand. When I was in Europe for that little summer stint that I did, I went from Spain to Croatia to Spain to Croatia to Scotland to London. Anyway, Titan AE was good. Yeah, it was. Pig and a Spider. You're talking about Charlotte's Web. You're talking about Charlotte's Web? You don't remember? You don't remember Charlotte's Web? Oh my God. Yeah, that was a good one too. That was like one of the books in maybe first grade that I had to read, but I had already seen the movie. Yeah, Charlotte's Web was a banger. And I remember watching, it wasn't Charlotte's Web, it was Babe. You remember that one with the pig? I watched that at my aunt's house a lot. Babe, yeah. Babe was about the pig, all the animals that could talk, and he becomes like a sheepdog pig. The classic line, "That'll do, pig. That'll do." That's where that one comes from. Supposed to be easier not supersetting all these, but actually the dips will always feel like hard work. After this, we're gonna go to some good mornings, which are gonna really open up the hinge hip, and then maybe some ring push-ups with how this is set up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, what else? What? Huh. I'm trying to think. You think of some, I'll think of some while I do this final set. What age did I start school? 5. 5 years old is when I went to kindergarten. Yeah, kindergarten. I never did preschool, any of that stuff. Pre-K. I didn't understand that pre-K was kind of just daycare if you had a kid that age. At my schools, at least. I don't know about y'all's. But yeah, preschool did not happen for me. I went to a library school once, and I took my lightsaber in my backpack. I remember that distinctly. I would always bring my lightsaber with me everywhere I went. Yeah, 5 years old. Preschool is 6 years old, and school starts at age 7. Does everybody go to preschool? Like, is that just a normal thing? Makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, preschool here was like pretty much just like the younger kids wore the same uniform as you, and you did the same stuff. That's what I remember about my friends who went to preschool, at least. But they all met each other there, you know, everybody had a head start. How many schools did you go to? From start to finish? That's a good question. You don't have uniforms in schools. Yeah, well, private schools have them here. My parents sent me to a private school for a lot of my education. Not all of it, but a lot. Walk to school alone at 7 years old, like a mile. Yeah, I would assume. I'm assuming no one's worried about. Oh yeah, no private schools either. Yeah, private school here, Catholic school. My parents sent us to Catholic school, and their school's pretty much, it's a uniform. Everybody wears a uniform, like all Catholic schools wear uniforms. Used to be nuns were the teachers. I never experienced that because nuns weren't around when I was there. But the school that I went to was a very, very old church, and same with the first school I went to was St. Thomas, and then it was St. John's. Those were the two churches. So one school, St. Thomas, and the other Notre Dame. And so I would be saying I went to Notre Dame as a fourth grader. And uniforms everywhere. Tan pants. Well, you start out blue. Everything's blue. Blue pants, blue shorts, blue slacks, blue shirt, white shirt, collared, with a blue sweater, appropriate hoodie, maybe a school sweater. If you played sports for the school, they'd make like a basketball hoodie that you could wear, so you could, but only if you played for the school, you know, so. Oh. There was this one year that my father worked as a screen printer. And so he would be doing all of the uniform orders, or a lot of the uniform orders for sports teams around the area and stuff. So for 1 year, I had like everybody would be wearing a crew neck sweater with our school name across it, but I had a hoodie version of it. And then as soon as everybody caught up to me and they got the hoodie version, I had the zip up version of it. And I was just ahead of the curve because my dad probably misprinted them or something, or maybe they're just extra, but I was able to take them. So I remember that. And then switched schools, another Catholic school, so still uniforms. Just trying to decompress my back. It is so tight right now. Which is why we bring this bad boy out. So what else? School starts at 7. No private schools. What about oh yeah, you still have it. How many schools did you go to between, preschool and the end? Okay. So I went to a primary school, 1 to 5. Went to vocational school, vocational qualification, business administration. Now I'm doing vocational school for cleaning. Hell yeah. Come on, puppies. I am completing my master's degree in business administration right now. Dogs. Oh yeah, come here, puppies. Come say hi to the void. Yeah, let me get you a better look at these little chaps. Where'd they go? Oh, there's the remote. Doggies. Doggies. Look at those puppies. This is Toby, my big boy. He is the older brother, and this is his little sister, Tula. Fight, they will. They always do. They are always fighting, dude. Tula, yeah, T-U-L-A. Good spelling. Very nice. Toby, T-O-B-I, Tula, T-U-L-A. And then actually, if you look at some of the clips, oh, my nose is so itchy. I had my sister's dogs here for a week. And so I had Toby, Tula, Hazel, and Coco. And those are pugs too. And so there were just 4 pugs going crazy on screen. Yep, Toby. Toby's my dude. Look at this guy. Come here, Toby, look over here. This is my guy right here. This is my little boy. Toby and I have been friends for close to 3 years. More than 3 years now. It's 3 years on January 1st. And so Tula is not even a year old yet, but Toby's a really good older brother. He keeps her in check, or he tries. Oh, today I have to finish up the thing. I gotta finish painting a dog team. I have a dog too. Her name is Scylla, short for Priscilla. That's adorable. That's one of the most adorable uses of a nickname I've ever heard in my life. Scylla. And it's like, what could that be short for? Scylla Manila. And you're like, no, Priscilla. Hey, Toby, what you doing? Hey, no licky. No licky pickles right now. I'm suspended upside down. Can't be licking me. Tula. Oh. What? Okay, watch out. Lick, lick. Support licks. Yeah, Toby was my first pet that I've ever had. I didn't grow up with dogs. I grew up with trial dogs, you know, for like a week, and then my parents were like, we really just can't do this. And so they'd go back and they'd find a better home. But there were so many kids that like, it was insane. So when I got Toby, I was in a funk. I was in a terrible, terrible funk that I could not get out of. It was after I got back from Europe, actually. And I had wanted a dog for a while, but I didn't think I would be able to give the dog all the time I needed. And then I started going to school full time, and I started just trying to learn how to live peacefully again, you know, kind of like we talked about earlier. And to break that funk, I decided that it was time to get a best friend, and I got Toby. And he and I have been inseparable since. I think you could probably count on, well, there's a while when me and my girlfriend were dating, and I would have to leave my parents for 2 days at a time. But Toby single-handedly turned me into a homebody, just because why would I want to go anywhere else without him, you know? That is the end of the workout, guys. It has been an hour and a half. It's 10:40 in the morning. Still early. I could still get a lot done. I have to paint that room still, finish painting it. It looks really nice, and I'm gonna find some excuse to stream in there. Void, I don't know. I'm just gonna call you Void unless you want me to call you something else. You want a nickname or Void?
We always had dogs when I was 12. It was my job to take our doggo Argentino for a walk after school. Tula's me and my girlfriend's dog together. Void is fine, right on. Yeah, Tula's, she has cherry eye right now. Come here. Come here. Who wants me to hold him? Who wants me to hold him? Come here. Toby. He's a little chunky boy, but he is athletic AF, my guy. I've never seen a dog that looks so chonkers and like, but like he's just a tank. Like you can see his ribs, so like you can tell he's still athletic. This looks, just have a steak knife here for whenever I finally learn how to cook them properly. Yeah, Toby's a tank, dude. Tula, she is good. A little blemish on her eye right now called cherry eye. She fights too much with Toby, so she ruptured a gland in her eye or something, so I actually have to take her in for a surgery. Next week? 2 weeks from now? Yeah, I don't know. Not soon enough, not far away enough as far as money goes, you know? Oh, that's my Cholula bear. But yeah, Tula had to wear a cone after she got spayed. And it was the funniest shit. Because we thought it was going to be, oh, how sad. She's going to be so depressed. No, she turned the cone into just a separate part of her body and learned how to use it as a weapon. There were times that she would have the cone on and scoop dirt and fling it right into Toby's face just to get the upper hand in a fight. Or she would use it as a shield and run up to Toby and go sideways so that all of his attacks were for nothing, and then she would whip around, chew on his feet, you know? I'm really surprised they're not going crazy right now. Usually they really are. Like they're insane. This is all they do is fight. Make sure to hit the socials, Void. I be editing my own stuff sometimes and sharing all the other stuff that I do, like painting the office and yes, Toby is a sausage. So these are all his nicknames: Tank, Sausage. Like these are just all the nicknames. Watch, they're gonna go for it. Oh, they're squaring off. They're squaring off. They're squaring off. Wait for it. Or maybe they're just listening. Could have sworn she was gonna charge. Oh, cool. On Discord. Right on. Yeah, I still want to do my Discord page that's just for, you know, sharing your workout for the day, but also I was like, do I really want to be in charge of a bunch of people that I don't actually know? So I'm glad that I got the time to get to know you today, because yeah, right, Tula would never do that. She lives for moments like this. She is my little Vienna sausage. She's my war starter 5000, you know? She could, look at this face. She could topple a country in one night. Yep. Look at the brains. Okay, guys, I am finished for the day. I do have some stuff to finish up, but thank you so much, Void, for hanging out today, chit-chatting. Sorry you were feeling down at the beginning of this. I hope you don't anymore. And I hope you know, never too late to change the way you feel. I didn't really feel like doing my thing today, but hanging out here with you made it easier. And so I will see you tomorrow, because we are so close to being done with streaming an entire month, and I've never done that before. I don't even know the last time that I've worked out consistently for an entire month in a row. So we're gonna do something fun for for January's end. But all right, guys, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.